think we're working all right. Got it prepped already. Oh. Sorry, it's a little later than usual, guys. Had a lot I had to kind of get taken care of today, and a lot going on, and so this is gonna be a little bit later, a little bit more tired. I guess real Caleb, not the fake like whatever. It's gonna be a little bit more not my usual. Today's just a lot going on right now and stuff. So, but we're here to cut some eggs. We're gonna put everything else in. The rest of the day is the rest of the day. Right now, we're working on focus on cutting eggs, and that's all that matters. So, hello. How's everyone doing today? I'm actually going to close that. I keep reading that every time. I'm going to close that door so I don't hear the caiman in the background, his little filter. On that caiman note, he did make it in time, Brian. The turtles and the caiman have now been together for 24 hours, so I'm going to knock on wood, but say, you know, so far, success. Mr. Guaps, this is the clutch. It is a blitz to blitz clutch, I'll tell you that. So looking for super blitzes if that's what you're looking for. Thank you, Dennis. I love Sir Chomps a lot. He's a pain sometimes, but I love him. I was trying to drain his water yesterday. I try like at the end of the year, right before it freezes and gets really cold, to drain his pool all the way, shop vac it out, scrub it out. I usually spray some CRL to get some of that built up off, really wash it out, clean it out, really get it really nice to go through the winter. And then I tried to do that yesterday, and the shop vac batteries are not working. So I got him out and risked my fingers for nothing. But that's okay. It was good to see him out and get a good size reference. Finally got some sleep. Those still very. I don't doubt it. So I used to do, for the zoo I worked at, we call it Pumpkins in the Park, and it was, when I did it, it was the last 2 weekends of October, and it was just this big Halloween event, you know, with trick or treat stations through the park. There's crafts, there's stage shows, there's fire performers and 3D mazes and all kinds of stuff like that. And so, yeah, I remember that, doing those, and then waking up next day to go to work and being dead. So I don't doubt that you're tired. We don't Holly, not right now. I'm sure there may be a chance in the future. Right now we do Patreon and then shows. We haven't had to need to go beyond that, but if that ever became a thing where like shows just weren't keeping up, then yeah, we would eventually I assume would eventually probably go to Morph Market. I can't really speak for them on that. I don't know. But maybe eventually, but for right now, it's just Patreon and shows. Every Saturday. Ooh, that's rough. I thought the last 2 weekends in October were rough. I looked now, and they just do it every Saturday. But Bills Mafia, hey, big Bills fan. I really need them to pull through the rest of the season because my fantasy league needs it. I'm in a paid league, and so I need some Bills wins by big, and I mean big, because I also have like 4 other players that are now injured for the rest of the season or out the season or whatever. I just won a $500 giveaway, so I was wondering if I could. Oh, that's awesome that you like. Congrats on that $500 giveaway. Unfortunately, we're not on Morph Market right now, so sorry about that. For real, I had Josh Allen and their defense last year and really pulled through, and so I picked up Diggs and I think their defense again this year, or maybe their kicker. There was like there was a special team slot that I picked up, and man, I need them to really Yeah, I agree. Diggs needs to pop off, but so we're about 5 minutes in. I think most people who are going to show up are here. I don't really. Yeah, I don't know how many. I think Matt usually shoots for 26, and since I'm not Matt, I'm. Oh, Tyler Bass is a great pick. I think that's actually who I ended up picking up instead of the defense. Matt usually picks 26, 25. So at 22, I am nowhere near Matt. So I will say 22 is good enough because I don't know that more will tune in for me. Their defense went nuts this week. Yeah, then I must have Bass because I didn't. My defense, I think, was like the Packers or something like that. So we have 5 eggs. I'll show them off. 5 eggs. 5 eggs were laid. 3 were slugs. So 8 eggs total. Slugs kind of suck, but to have 5 eggs go full term, really awesome. I'll take that. Mom was a blitz. Dad was a blitz. Looking for super blitz. This clutch alone, not this clutch alone, but this clutch is one that is really special to me. Mostly because I'm in a group that I have a disagreement with someone. We'll put it that way. And so making super blitzes is, always a great thing to feel because it's a disagreement I and someone else have. So we'll go ahead and get started, kind of do it the same way we did last time. I'll cut an egg and show you and so on and so forth. Hey, JoJo. But other than that, we'll go ahead and get started. I didn't get a chance today to, super blitz, or normal. So far, nothing. I haven't started cutting yet. I didn't get a chance today to sit down and play with the tripod and get a chance to kind of work out some kinks with it. So hopefully tomorrow, because I do have an egg cutting again tomorrow, I believe. So hopefully by then I will have it kind of figured out. Alrighty. What do we have here? All right, nice and good movement. I will go ahead and flip this around so you can see. Oop, one too many times. So hard to see in the egg, but based on that and what our options are, it's not a super blitz, but I would say it's a blitz based on that linking in the alien heads. We work a really good line of blitz, and I don't mean that we created blitz or that our blitz is the best blitz or that our line of blitz makes a certain look. I am saying that we bought high quality blitz, and so we produce high quality blitz. The line of blitz that we work from the moment we got it, from beyond whoever, to what we produce and what those people produce, our blitzes usually turn out really nice blitzes. We don't have too many where it's there, it's not. And some of that does have to do with because we probably hit some blitzes that we just call normals because they're just not to what we would consider a blitz. And I'm not going to play the game of, well, I think it's here in this part and yada, yada, yada. So you don't know what blitz looks like? I think I have, let me go grab something real quick. I think I have a female for a good example. This right here is a very nice single gene blitz. So you can see, I call it Hercules, but you get these little, let me get the scissors right here. You get it where it looks like a guy flexing all on the snake all around, so you can kind of really see, or hearts. Some people call it hearts. It hearts up quite a bit. So this is a single gene blitz female. Love this gene. Absolutely love it. Belongs in almost everything. I truly believe blitz can go into anything. Yeah, blitz is awesome. So we'll go on to the next egg. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. I will have to confer with Matt on what we bred to her last year, because we hit a super blitz this year, and so I know what those look like. And my only options are blitz, non-blitz, and super blitz. And to me, this is like, I don't know. Maybe this is just a very, very nice super blitz. But look how dark that is. It almost looks like what I would expect a GHI blitz to look like. I'm almost positive Mom went last year. I know we tried for GHI blitzes one year, but I think we used a GHI Mojave female blitz dad. So I don't know. Man, what is this? 3 clutches in a row where we're like, what is that? That doesn't make sense. You know, we have the albino, the non-albino, and an albino to albino pairing. We had all white snakes in a champagne clutch. And now we have, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Also, guys, this could literally just be a super blitz and the egg just making it look different. But to be honest, if that's a super blitz, that's probably one of the nicest super blitzes on the planet. Because that is just, I don't know. Once we cut all the eggs, we'll kind of compare it to others too. That's something I like to do. Sometimes that first all gener you hit, you're like, oh, this has to be something incredible or something crazy or whatever. And then you compare it and it's really just an all gener that is a really nice expression of it. So, yeah. And so this one I think is likely a normal. Again, blitz is really hard to call in the egg. But you know, there's a strong back, some alien heads turning into hearts, but to be honest, I think this is going to end up just being a really nice normal. So far, if you're keeping count, we have what I think is 1 blitz, 1 normal, and 1 probably super blitz now that it rolls over a little bit more. Just a very interesting super blitz. So about kind of 1, 1, 1. It's not bad. You know, you'd prefer to have no normals. 2 more eggs. We're going to hit another super blitz. These eggs are also much easier to cut. The other eggs were all pretty dry, and yeah, so here's another blitz. This is a non-super. So another nice blitz. I think blitz can really just be great with anything. One of my favorite snakes we've ever hatched, it didn't survive, and I think I might try and talk the others into pairing that again, but it was the pastel spot nose to the calico blitz. We hit the all gener, a pastel calico spot nose blitz, and that thing was absolutely insane. And I'm sad it didn't thrive. So maybe I'll talk the yahoos into doing that again, just because it was a gorgeous snake. Alrighty. Interesting. So I think this one was trying to pip as I was cutting, because his head's up trying to break through the sack. But it looks like we have another blitz. This one is possibly a super as well, just because it's pretty light colored and it's got a lot more wonkiness compared to what the other blitzes have. Right now, you're just seeing his head because he decided that he wanted to stick on through. But if you, yeah, unfortunately, I can't get a good look on it. But yeah, so 5 eggs cut. We for sure, here's what we know for sure, right? Let me get this straightened back out. There we go. We know for sure we have a normal. possibly 2. No, just a normal. We don't have 2, that's for sure. We've got 1, 2, 3 blitzes. One's for sure what I think is the super blitz. It's pretty dark though, like, I don't know. But based on what we know, right, in the medical field as a firefighter, the saying is when you hear footsteps, think horses, not zebras. Occam's razor. The most likely easiest scenario is probably the answer. So I'm just going to call this a super blitz. And there's possibly a second one, just a little bit lighter. It's kind of hard to say. So pretty good odds. All babies look really, really healthy. And so I can't really complain about that. Not really complaining at all. Will you be letting any of the super blitzes go? We will talk about that on Patreon after we're done on here, because potentially, but potentially not. So there's kind of a little story behind all of that. We'll kind of talk about that on Patreon. But other than that, that was a pretty good clutch. 5 eggs laid, 5 healthy babies hatched, essentially, for at this point in time, right? Because you don't really know something's wrong until probably 2 to 3 days after they're cut. And this is when you just start to notice issues and stuff. The new scissors are amazing, actually. I didn't realize how dull the other scissors were starting to get until I started cutting with these scissors, and it was like just smooth. Got to get back to work. I'll have a good day at work or night at work. I don't really know time zone, or honestly, I don't even know what time it is here. But have a good day. Yeah, these scissors are really nice. They're a little bit more curved than what the other ones are, but that's okay. It kind of makes it a little bit easier to cut. I really like it. Plus they're good color. It's really cool. I like the almost Damascus steel like look to it, with a bulb on the end. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Each one has like a little. Yeah, we used to have a bunch of those too. Really, anything works to cut. I've used all kinds of things. The only thing I haven't done is I don't like the tearing. I've seen some people tear eggs open. That's not a knock on that person. That's just, I wouldn't trust it. But if you have experience with it, go for it. Why not, right? If that's something it's just like, I don't have experience probing. Razor blades, I don't do those either anymore. I did those once. Nothing bad happened. I just felt less in control than with scissors. But like with probing, I don't trust myself to probe. I've never been taught. I've never learned. I'm not going to do it. But I know several people, including Anna, who do. And that's just because that's the way they were taught. And so, it's kind of up to how you were taught. When I worked venomous, when I first started working venomous as a zookeeper, there was a one way, each person that trained me all had their own ways to handle the same snake. What was right and what was wrong was not really that important. What was keeping you alive, what was really important. So, I ended up developing my own skill, or not really skill, but developing my own way I wanted to handle each particular snake. And even here, me and Matt handle things differently than each other. And that's just because really what's important is what's natural and comfortable to you to keep you alive. Now, with that being said, that's not me advocating that, if you're comfortable free handling, that's the way to do it. I don't recommend it, no matter how comfortable you are, for most instances. With a king cobra, you have to. There's no other choice. But don't pull a Chandler. Yeah, you really have to mess up to stab a snake with scissors. I'm sure it happens. So a few things. Yeah, messing up with scissors is really a lot harder than scissors, but it still can be done, right? Like, accidents happen. Especially like when we're cutting white snakes on a white egg, it's really hard to see where some things can be. Don't pull a Chandler. Yeah, or anyone, man. So I know. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, Ryan. But I know some free handlers who go farther than that and will like kiss their snake on the lips and stuff. I've seen one of them get bit, and There's another one who I haven't seen posting on Facebook in a while, and I'm kind of hoping that means I kind of hope that it doesn't mean that he got seriously hurt. I hope he's just taking a social media break. But it has been about 8 months since he's posted, so we shall see. Do you ever want to go light with blitz such as banana or the like? Yeah, we actually kind of did. When the very first time we did a banana, black pastel to calico blitz. So banana and pastel and blitz. No, banana, black pastel to calico blitz. So not really lightning. We did make some banana blitzes. We're probably gonna do that pairing again next year. Just a sneak peek on that. So yeah, we did pastel spot nose to calico blitz as well. So we do intend to lighten that gene. I think we even have a pastel. We have a pastel calico blitz head exanthic male as well. That'll be ready to go and breed. So maybe getting some exanthic blitzes, pastel exanthic blitzes, super pastel exanthic blitzes, maybe some fire, maybe some yellow belly. Who knows? The possibilities are endless with him. I know a YouTuber who got bit, but no one knows about it. All I can say. I'm not surprised. Yeah, that is the way to go, Anna. We produced a Mojave Blitz, and it's by far. Let me grab that. Like, you look at Mojaves and you look at this thing, you'll never want a regular Mojave again. You'll never want a normal Mojave again. Look at that thing. I can't really get a good angle. She's gonna bite my face. So if she does, I'm sorry for whatever noise that comes out of my mouth because I jump pretty easily. But look at that thing. Oh, lesser complex bell complex animals and blitzes go really, really well together. Speaking of venomous, I can't stand Viper Keeper. Yeah, that's fair. Some people don't like his voice or whatever, and everyone has their preferences. I can sure respect the man though for rehoming some animals when he said, I'm just kind of getting a little too old and it's a little too unsafe. And some people won't have the balls to do that. And so I will definitely give him kudos for that. So let me put this snake up. All right, guys, we've been talking for about 25 minutes now. So does anyone have any other questions, or we might slide on over to Patreon? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. Living alone kind of sucks sometimes when you do things like this because, say we get done, I don't know what time it is, but say it's like probably close to 8 something. So then we'll do the Patreon live, get done with that, and it'll be like 8:30, 8:45. I'll finish up some things down here about 9. And then I still have to do some daily chores. I still have to cook dinner, shower, get ready for work the next day. It's a little bit harder than when, if you had someone else to maybe cook for you and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm pretty jealous of like Matt. When he's like, all right, my wife just texted dinner's ready. I'm like, fuck, I still got to go home and I still got to go upstairs and cook and all that stuff. The bell complex snakes are all beautiful. I probably have too much Mystic Lesser and Mojave. There's no such thing as too much. I have a love-hate. Man, I feel the same way. Because other times I'm sitting here and I'm like, God dang, it's so nice. I have the weekend to myself. I ain't got no plans because I didn't make plans intentionally. So I can come down here, do some cleanings real quick. Then I'm upstairs enjoying the rest of my day. God, it's nice sometimes. And other times I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I don't want to cook. I want someone to cook for me. But I don't want to go to a restaurant and pay that price. That's insane, even by myself. I remember when I first moved up to Manhattan, I was living with someone. And between me and her, groceries were like $75 a week. Now it's like $200 for a week just for me. What is that? Man, cost of living is going up. I get that. That's why I have the dog I have. She is very, very, very clingy. Almost too much sometimes. I'll be honest. She can be a little much. But I love her regardless. Just sometimes meal prep. Listen, that requires me to think ahead of schedule. And that's just not something I can do. And here's the other thing. I am a fat ass. I am. This government work is killing me. If I have food in the fridge that I like, I will eat it until it's gone. For instance, today after I had some doctor's appointments, I got Subway because it was buy one get one foot long Subways. I was like, well, I'll have one for lunch and one for dinner. I ate both for lunch. What's up with that? Or I made like 3 pounds of meatballs. I didn't even eat it as a meal. I just grazed on it. My grandma calls me a cow. Not that I'm that big, but she calls me a cow because I just graze. I just never stop eating, and she's probably right. So, I'm the one who cooks. Would be nice to get that. Yeah, I don't doubt it. But are you really sure that you want Dennis cooking? Is the question. Still eating like a firefighter. You're not wrong. And it got worse now that I work at a job that they just let me eat whenever, whether I'm on the clock or not. When I was at Best Buy, I worked in a warehouse. You had a set time to eat, and sometimes you didn't even get a time to eat, so you didn't eat. And that was okay because you got paid more. But, so, I was limited on when I eat. Now, I have a mini fridge I'm going to get a mini fridge in my office so I can just have more snacks. I don't have to get up to... This is how lazy I am. I don't have to walk down to the break room to grab all the food and stuff. So, it's a problem. I can make a badass cereal. I still have a wrench from like 6 years ago. That's wild. I'll be honest, Dylan. I am so far behind in technology after leaving Best Buy. I don't even know what the wrench means. So, I see like Anna has one too. That's cool. But other than that, does anyone else have any questions, other questions or anything before we hop off on here? Kind of got off on sidetracks of daily Caleb problems. This is a Caleb problem. I had those 2 Subway sandwiches, and I was like, well, maybe I won't be hungry for like dinner. And I was on my way home, and I called a friend, and I was talking about how crappy today was. Oh, it means we were moderators. That's fair. And they're like, do you just want to come eat Mexican food with us? And I should have said no, because I was already full. I had eaten lunch, the 2 Subway sandwiches, like a couple hours ago. And I did. I went and ate at El Tapatio, and now I feel like I needed... Ask Matt if he'll cook for you. Yeah. Holly, we use SK Xanthic. Life on the... see, I think I would love, but also hate truck driving. I love driving. I love listening to music while I drive, being on podcasts, being in my own little world. And I love sightseeing while I'm driving. But I don't know that I could sit in a car for 12 hours. Anna was thinking something else from wrench. Like a Dennis. Yeah, TSK. So the Snake Keeper line. And there's no... This line is better than that line. Quality in, quality out. I like TSK because of JD. He has very good quality. Do I go to the movies by myself? No. I don't really pay for movies. I maybe not. I'm not admitting anything on camera that I pirate them. So, I do see movies by myself at my house, maybe that are legal, maybe that are not. I don't have time for movies is so accurate. I was talking to a coworker. Oh, no, it was my doctor. I was talking to my doctor about all the things I had to do this week. They're like, well, when do you have time to sleep? I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, man. I didn't think about that, and I love my sleep. Yeah, that's true. There hasn't really been a movie. Oh, Oppenheimer was good. Growing up as a kid, and this may not be for most people, but when I was a kid, I really liked watching Duck Dynasty with my dad. And so there's a Duck Dynasty movie coming out that I'll probably maybe pirate, maybe not. You stream movies from your home. Yeah, legally. Yes, emphasis on I legally do that. So the FBI guy who's, following my phone can say, doesn't have to, yeah. Reptiles are reptiles modern dinosaurs? Yes and no. That's actually, maybe that's a video we'll do while Matt's gone. We can sit down and have taxology talk with Caleb. Yes and no. There are certain family lines of reptiles that stem back to to dinosaurs. But what we traditionally call dinosaurs actually branched down into birds, and the reptiles we have today were reptiles back then during the dinosaur time. So, yes and no. Taxonomy is really weird. It's really interesting if you enjoy nerdy things like me. But yes and no, they are modern dinosaurs, but only because they were alive during the dinosaur time. What we consider true dinosaurs, not all dinosaurs look like birds. That's true, but evolution can take some very drastic changes. I saw a short earlier that Gen Alpha has a new challenge. Write their names without lifting the pen from the paper. So, clamp the pen down and push the paper onto the pen and sign it, or... Yeah. Sleep is for the weak. Yeah, definitely. My liver probably hates all the Red Bull and Monster I go through, but agreed, sleep is for the weak. A handful of us are... Yeah, so there are people with VPI. Me personally, I have a potential VPI snake in the collection as well. So I do like both. It's not like nice try, Fed Boy. It's not that I just work one. Not all dinosaurs. Yeah, I answered that one. Are dragons just dinosaurs? Here's the thing. Here's where it gets really, really tricky, and it's based on what you believe. So I'm going to give a broad consensus of what science says, not necessarily what I believe, not necessarily what you have to believe, but a long, long, long time ago when we lived in trees, we were afraid there was giant birds that were trying to eat us, giant snakes and stuff like that. And we call it evolution. What's the term? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like evolutionary fear. So we think of dragons because it's been instilled in our brains and memories. We're hardwired to be afraid of that because what's what hunted our ancestors. Kind of like how when you have captive bred animals, they're much more calm than their wild counterparts because then they're used to us. So there's theories that they can learn to be calm, that the calm trait or the not being afraid of us can be inherited. Dragons are way cooler. I agree. Chickens are though. Yeah, chickens are closely related to T-Rex. I'm putting on. Have a good night, Ryan. Cursive. Oh, I guess, yeah, I was thinking of without picking up the pen off, like if you laid the pen on the table, you couldn't pick it up from the table. But yeah, cursive, I can do cursive, but I heard that's not taught in school anymore, so I don't know what they would, how they sign their checks or anything. Can venomous snakes be tamed down if worked with since babies and can be eventually free-handled them like ball pythons? Sure, they can. But they can still bite you too. So while they will calm down and respect you and respect your space where they may not strike at you all the time, you will always run that risk of getting bit, and I will never recommend free handling unless it's absolutely required. Exactly. My dog is super tame, but he can still bite me. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. But are dragons dying? I don't know what that question is, Daniel. Sorry. But I firmly believe about 90,000% of the snake bites that happen from free handling are because you let your guard down. But that can be with anything, man. How many people's jobs have a risk that you take and then there's an accident because you let your guard down? Firefighting, EMT. My dad works at Cessna. Well, now it's Textron Aviation. They make airplanes, and he works on a thing called the Widowmaker. The dang machine's made after killing people. That's insane. So if you do anything could have issues. Yeah, snakes are definitely like dinosaurs. Hey, Lucas, how do you feel about hybrid snakes? Man, that's iffy. Some natural hybridization, it doesn't bother me. When people take things like a chondro, a green tree python, and then they breed it to a ball python who has drastically different care, I'm not a fan of that. There's someone who breeds cherry head tortoises to sulcata tortoises. I think they're very pretty tortoises, but I'm not a fan of them because you have drastically different care. You have a grassland tortoise breed, savanna, hot, humid tortoise being bred to a tropical fruit eating, meat eating tortoise. So it just depends. It's my fingers being fat and clumsy. The enter button is right next to. Oh, I see what. Yeah. So let me go back and read that. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah. I got what you're saying. I'm catching up. I'm slow. Do you think people who keep snakes and other reptiles is because they loved dinosaurs when they were kids? That probably has a really good part of it. I actually used to I wanted to be a paleontologist growing up, and I job shadowed a paleontologist, and he told me if I wanted to give tours in a museum all day to people who don't care about what I'm saying, be a paleontologist. Otherwise, if you just want to look for dinosaur fossils and stuff like that and do it as a hobby, and I did. So I have a bunch of fossils. I love dinosaurs. I've always loved dinosaurs. I had a really cool idea growing up of having a zoo of animatronic dinosaurs and then having a real animal of what their closest relative was. So I'd have like an animatronic T-Rex, and then in there, I would also have like little chickens. There are things that aren't closely related, but we talk about what's called convergent evolution, where they're not related, but they filled the niche. For instance, there's a thing called Paraceratherium. They look a lot like giraffes, right? And what do giraffes look like? And what Paraceratheriums look like? They look a lot like brontosauruses. They're these animals with long necks that are eating branches from the tops of high skyscraper-sized trees. And when they died out, something else filled that niche. So they're not closely related, but they filled in a convergent evolution. I thought that would be a really cool zoo idea one day, is to have stuff like that, or have, a titanoboa in the, like a statue of a titanoboa in like a anaconda cage would be really cool. Are amphibians related to reptiles because some look very similar to each other? Yeah. That is a little bit trickier when you go into depth of what everything is. Technically, things like mammals and reptiles and yada, yada, yada are just man-made terms to simplify what we know about animals and put them into categories. So depending on who you talk to, yeah, they are really same. And here's the thing, taxonomy is crazy because, and I know this is way off after I said I'm getting off, but I like this stuff. I'm pretty nerded out about this stuff. But taxonomy is not a widely accepted thing. Just because we say the taxonomy of this is this doesn't mean everyone agrees with it. And that doesn't mean it's actual scientific fact. It's platypus. Where do we put platypus? They have venom. They lay eggs. They can't be a mammal, but they have fur. So they can't be a reptile. Can't be a fish. It's very interesting. Do you think plesiosaurs look like sauropods but with flippers instead of legs? Yes, and actually what's really, really cool is you can look at plesiosaurs and mosasaurs, and we actually think they were early monitor lizards. No, I really don't, man. Like, I see a lot of, like, the Peru snake and stuff like that, and I love cryptozoology, too. Like, it's fascinating. Most of it's not true, and it can't be, but it's fascinating. for Titanoboa to still exist, or a Titanoboa-sized snake to still exist, there would have to be other equally sized megafauna for them to be able to eat. And we would see signs of that happening. There are megafauna that they could eat, but the megafauna that they could eat and stuff would be so easy we would recognize it. It's like Megalodon doesn't exist as much as people think. There's all that old saying only 2% of the ocean has been discovered, but really it's actually closer to like 10 or 20%. And most of that is like the like, it's not like we like did like 2% of the ocean from top to bottom and then said screw the other 98. It's like we did 2% of the entire ocean from the top, which is where a topwater predator like Megalodon would sit. They fit the niche of a great white shark. So they would have to be hunting whales on top ocean, and we just don't see evidence of that. So 30 feet more because the biggest number of organisms is 27. So why wouldn't we think it's possible for them to reach over 30? It's possible. It is, but the odds are very, very low because it took Medusa to be in captivity with perfect care to get to that size. And the odds of that happening in the wild are just so slim. So, yes, temperature does play a role in their size, but so does oxygen level, right? The oxygen levels were way higher back then than they are now. And so, yeah, heat plays a role, but there's a lot of other factors. And they have to benefit from growing, not just they have the capabilities to. We have the capabilities of all kinds of things, but it didn't benefit us in evolution or adaptation, whatever way you want to believe. So it's possible, but unlikely. I mean, it depends. If you're talking about in a one-on-one fight, that would never happen because they're not near each other. Probably the anaconda just because it's so thick, but it's hard to say. But other than that, it is starting to get a little late, so I'm going to go ahead and slide on over to Patreon, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow for another live egg cutting. All right? And I don't know why my dog is now freaking out, but she thinks she needs attention. So I'll see you guys in a bit.